Everyone here seems so happy and content. Just like in China.
You've been to China, Comrade Major?
I've been everywhere.
Take that, you commie. Crispy Joes. Look at that 5-head. Lenin, you commie son of a...
You're watching Play Replay with Async. On this video, I just wanted to give my thoughts on the new game Atomic Heart. It's kind of a cool game. It's kind of a different game. It's more of a Soviet kind of feel. And a lot of people might have a problem with that, considering with the feud or whatever between Russia and the Ukraine and America getting in the middle of all that and whatever, and all that stuff aside. Hi guys, thanks for watching. I just wanted to ask you to please hit that subscribe button and like it and share it if you enjoy what I'm doing here. It helps out my channel greatly. And you can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. And I'm also on Rumble. So if you're looking for me, you can also find that information in the descriptions of most of my videos on YouTube. So thank you for watching. The game is pretty cool. I mean, it's not the greatest though. I kind of thought it was more of a open world game, but it turns out it feels like, well, at least in the beginning portion of the game, it has a feel like I feel like it's trying to have like the BioShock thing, you know, where you're walking through corridors and you're kind of trying to find your way, and of course there's mad robot type of characters coming after you all the time, and I don't know, it's not as great as like BioShock would have been. But of course BioShock was kind of a messed up game too, because you kind of have to trade your you kind of have to be more open to using these little girls in that game or whatever to get these powers so that you can move forward through the game in BioShock. So that's kind of where like I have a moral kind of not a good feeling when it comes to that game, because it just kind of feels like you're just trying to get a high off of these kids, like adrenochrome or whatever. It's really kind of messed up. But when it comes to Atomic Heart, the beginning portion of this game is pretty long. I mean, you don't really actually get to do any combat or anything. I timed it, it was like 35 minutes before you actually get to things actually happening. You get to watch this whole world unfolding, basically this Soviet communist looking environment where, like, if Russia had won and the Soviet thing would have exploded and became like a worldwide thing, and they would have advanced in robotics. That's kind of what this world is in this game, and it's kind of bizarre, but it's kind of like those other games, like the Wolfenstein games, where what if the Nazis had won the war and became the world power and stuff, which I kind of feel with the way the world's going now, the Nazis did win the war and they are running the world, so it's not too far away from that. But yeah, so we got this guy who really likes to talk in this game. I don't think I find it as annoying as some people do, but it is kind of irritating sometimes at certain points. But he's always talking to his glove. He's got this like AI system in his glove, so it's like a power glove or something, and all these little things come out of it. It kind of reminds me of like the Mark of the Beast or something. It's bizarre, but anyway, he could basically use that, and he could do a lot of similar things to BioShock. A lot of this, like, it feels like BioShock when he can just, you know, like pull things from a cabinet or whatever, just by going like this with his hand or whatever, and he could like have a thing, he could go like this, and he could see like through walls and all this stuff. It's just, it feels like that's like the BioShock element to this game. So it does kind of stay true to the BioShock idea with this game, and it does have some it just feels like you start off the game in this, like I was saying before, I'm kind of just kind of going off the path here, but you start off in this open world looking thing. You feel like this is a great big world and it's all beautiful. It's got all this, well, I don't know if it's beautiful, it just looks communist to me, but it has these marching robots. It has all this stuff going on. People are out in the streets and everyone's having a great time, and the robots are doing everything for everybody, which kind of tells me, you know, when you see that, you're just like, well, obviously something's going to go wrong here because humans have stopped thinking and the robots are basically doing the thinking for them and doing all the hard work and labor. And you know, AI is going to come into equation at some point and ruin that, and the humans are just going to be taken advantage of. But the story just kind of doesn't feel like it's doing anything. It just kind of feels like a showcase at the beginning of this for 35 minutes. So it's like showcasing the world, getting you used to the thing that's supposedly this utopia in this future, in this Soviet future or whatever. And then you kind of drops you into everything going wrong. But before all that happens, you get to float around in these floating cities in this car. And it's kind of weird that they're just literally picking up this car with a flying robot and you're just sitting in it listening to music and kind of hovering down to wherever they show you, like around, they show you different Soviet communist statues or whatever. And it's just like, okay, that's nice and everything, but when do I get to do something? And eventually everything goes wrong. This guy gets dropped a few times. It's kind of weird he survives these drops, but anyway, and so on and so forth. And eventually you find robots that you have to fight. All of the robots turned on the people for the most part. I mean, there's some robots that are helping you too, but anyway, and then you get these powers and it kind of walks you through everything. I don't really like the menus in this game. They just don't feel like something I can really completely grasp or understand quite yet at this point. Maybe if I play through it a couple more times and I get the feel for it. But it's like, it's just a lot of complexity. There is a lot of upgrading and stuff you can do, and you could tweak your guns and stuff, but I kind of wish that they had better guns. I feel like we should have, like, in this super future or whatever, we could have like laser guns of some kind or some, you know, like, I mean, like the gravity gun in like Half-Life. That thing was awesome. But why can't we get something like that in this future? You know, they have all these other technologies. They got robots walking around, for God's sake. I mean, hovering, everything, drones, all this stuff. But anyway, that's whatever. That's anybody could say what they want in a game, and that's what they want. But anyway, then you get to this point where you kind of go into this building and you're just in the building and you cannot get out, and you have to go through all these little, you know, go here, go there, get this so you can do this, go get this so you can do this. And then you have to go through all these things before you can actually get out into the world that you kind of wanted to go to originally. The reason why you got the game is because you see that beautiful open world and you're like, can I get there? How do I get out there? How can I experience that? So that's just kind of the part I don't like, because you're underground in this basically in this dungeon kind of thing, like that. You're just kind of trying to go through this broken tunnels and stuff like that, and you finally get to where you can finally get out. But the open world thing, it doesn't sound like it's gonna be like, whatever way you're playing it, you have to be able to just kind of know when to go into the open world part of it, because you might not know that you can go out and play in the open world part of it in some parts. It's really hard to explain. But anyway, the game is cool. It's just got some issues that don't make it the greatest, you know. Its graphics are freaking amazing. I gotta hand it to them. They did a great job on this, but overall the game just kind of feels like it's missing something. Like, you want it to be like Far Cry. You want it to be a big map that you can just go from place to place and kind of do different missions and do different things, but you kind of can't feel, you don't know where you're going or it's really hard for me to explain, but from my experience, I just don't understand where they want you to, what they're trying to get you to do here, because you feel like you got to go on this mission, but you don't know that you can go off and do other stuff like in the open world because you feel like you got a mission, and then they don't really tell you that you can go and kind of move and go out and into the real world, out into the open world and kind of explore. And I don't think that a game should have to tell you everything, but when it's kind of feels like you're being led through corridors and all these things and trying to be led from place to place to continue this onward with the story, it feels like they should give you some kind of a robot telling you, because the robot tells you everything in this game. I mean, just even dumb things, you're just like, okay, yeah, we know. And there's even some aspects of the game where they know that it's boring where you're stuck at, and they know that you probably don't like it, but they just kind of make fun of it, like, you know, oh yeah, ha ha ha, but you know, they're the developers, they could have actually fixed that, but whatever. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of people probably review this game, and a lot of people probably talk about this game right now, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents on it because I think it's a good game. It's just inherently flawed because of it's tied down to too many things. It feels like there's just not enough emphasis on making an open world, like telling you, hey, you can go out do all this stuff, because I think the developers felt like they could not, you know, get the person to go to the mission and do the thing that they're supposed to do if they would have just didn't tell them, you know. So instead they decided to tell you that this is your mission and where you got to go. And through doing that, they basically made you feel like you had to focus on that thing instead of going around and doing other things. So that's just kind of my thoughts on it. But I think it's a cool game, and I think that there would be a great, if they just take the good aspects of this game and just add it to this, like a second part, and they just kind of diminish all the talking that the guy does and all the little, you know, getting stuck in tunnels and all that stuff, and just kind of give it more of an open world feeling where you're out in the sun and you can deal with all this stuff and robots going to hell and everything's, you know, falling apart. If they just gave you that and just kind of set it up like Far Cry, where there's like little outposts and bases where the evil people or robots or whatever are, that they've taken over, and you got to go free those places and help people. I think this game would have been a far better game if they would have done that and just kind of gave it that Far Cry kind of feel. Now, I don't think that they have to copy another video game developer, but I just think that would fit this game a little better. And then you could have like abilities to get different weapons and stuff. And I think they could use better weapons for that, for the most part. I like the guns, but it's like a shotgun, you know, you get a shotgun, you get this electric gun or whatever. And it's like, you don't really get guns that you're just like over the moon about, you know. I've seen a lot better guns in other first person shooters and stuff. So it's like, whoa, what are you doing here? So I don't know. I just wanted to give my thoughts on this game, and I think it's worth buying and everything. I just think that they could do much more if they were to open it up and give it more of an open sandbox kind of feel, where you can just kind of go and do what you need to do, and then kind of feel like you're achieving something, and you'll enjoy the game more if it's an open world game that's more open. This is kind of an open world game in some ways, but it's not open enough is what I'm saying. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say about this game. I don't want to make these videos super long. I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. So like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.